It's not what you think. Let me explain.
Holland America Line is a mid-luxury cruise line known for its mid-sized ships, exceptional service, and destination-focused itineraries. It is part of the Carnival Corporation and has a long history dating back all the way to 1873. Holland America's fleet of 11 ships offers more than 500 cruises to more than 470 ports in 98 countries and territories all over the world, including Alaska, the Caribbean, Europe, Asia, and more. Holland America is also known for its culinary options, live entertainment, and cultural immersion enrichment programs. Holland America is especially known for its Alaska cruises that offer exclusive land and sea journeys with access to Denali National Park. But while Holland America appeals to travelers seeking a refined cruise experience and is very popular amongst mature cruisers, it tends to receive very mixed reviews with mainstream cruisers. I recently sailed on board my very first Holland America cruise, and in this video, I will share my personal review about my time on board Holland Koningsdam.
Hi, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and as you just heard, I recently took my 60th cruise, but my very first cruise on board Holland America Cruise Line. Now, I'll be very honest to say that wasn't quite what I expected. And you're probably also wondering, why did it take 60 cruises for me to try Holland America? Now, to put it in perspective, I have cruised pretty much all of the major cruise lines: Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, NCL, Virgin Voyages, pretty much all of the other major cruise lines. But I'll be very honest, I was hesitant to cruise Holland America because of some of the reviews like these that I've heard. And so once I started approaching my 60th cruise, I decided, you know what, I need to get on board, give this cruise line a try, and see what they're all about. Now, I sailed on board Holland Koningsdam, October 2024. Now, this was what they would consider a sampler cruise, so it was just a 4-night cruise. It departed from Vancouver and ended in San Diego, so it's one of their shorter repositioning cruises, and it had one port stop in Catalina Island, also known as Avalon. Now, I will again tell you that it was not exactly what I expected, but I'm going to share with you guys some of the details, some of the ins and outs of Holland America. But if you missed my vlog series on Holland America and my time on board Holland Koningsdam, be sure to check out that vlog series because I'll give you some tips and tricks for cruising Holland America, share my experience in terms of the entertainment, the food, the ship, all of those things. So this is going to be a quick wrap up, quick review of my time on board Holland America in comparison to some of those reviews, some of those things that you might hear about. Now, before we get started, if you love cruise content, you love family cruising, solo cruising, just adventurous cruising, out exploring ports, excursions, things like that, then you want to be sure that you're subscribed to our channel. We are MH Family Adventures, and again, we've taken over 60 cruises since 2019. And we have over 1,000 cruise vlogs, tips and trick videos, and all kinds of things on our YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, share us out, and give this video a like. And if you have yet to cruise Holland America, leave a comment and let me know what is stopping you from trying Holland America. So I'm going to break this quick review down into 5 parts, and these parts are based on some of the most common complaints or concerns or reservations that I've heard about Holland America, whether it's from social media forums, review sites, cruise critic, clients. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to break this review down into 5 different parts to kind of give you an idea of what I was thinking going into Holland America, kind of what my misconceptions were, and then what my reality was being on board. And as with all reviews, guys, keep in mind that this review is based on my experience, my time on board, my thoughts. So you may have a different experience on board Holland America, but these are based on my personal views, my personal thoughts. So one of the most common things that I hear when people say they would never cruise Holland America is that they feel Holland America is for old people. And when I say old people, I'm referring to those that are 60 and older, those that are retired, senior citizens, things like that. Some reviews even call it assisted living at sea. Well, let me just say this. That was also one of my reservations, was getting on board. I'm not quite 60, but I am somewhat of an old soul. But one of my reservations was getting on board Holland America, thinking that I was going to get on board and I was going to be surrounded by more mature cruisers, which, let me just say this, I personally don't mind being around mature cruisers. It's more my vibe, my style of cruising. Your style might be a little bit different. So I didn't necessarily mind that, but I did want to have more of a mixed crowd. Now, I will tell you this. I honestly thought that I was going to walk onto the ship and it was going to be a bunch of scooters, a lot of wheelchairs. folks with gray hair, and that was not the case. So, and let me just say this, it may be because I was on board a shorter sailing. I do think sometimes shorter sailings attract a different crowd, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that there was a wide range of ages on board my sailing. Now, again, this left Vancouver. It's a 4-night sailing. Holland America, they don't offer many short cruises. So I thought, to try it out, I would want to take a shorter cruise and not commit to a 7-night cruise. But I was honestly pleasantly surprised to see that it was not like a nursing home at sea or assisted living at sea or anything along those lines. In fact, I probably saw less scooters and wheelchairs and walkers on that sailing than I saw on like an XL class Carnival ship. Now, again, if you are on a 7-night cruise, that might vary, it might change. I can see where Holland America attracts a more mature crowd, but I think it's just the overall vibe of Holland America being more of a relaxation cruise. But I would say that looking at some of the reviews that I hear about the age of Holland America, I was pleasantly surprised to see that there was a wide range of ages on board. And while I'm speaking of ages, something to know is that Holland America, they do offer kids and teens clubs. Now, this was something that I learned once I got on board. Well, I knew it as a travel advisor, but I was very intentional to go to the kids clubs and the teens club just to scope those out to get more information, because Holland America is working on trying to be more of a multi-generational cruise line where they're attracting babies all the way up to grandparents, great-grandparents, or what have you. And so I did go on board and I looked at the kids club, and just talking with some of the crew members on board, they did share with me that during peak season, which would be like your summers, holidays, things like that, that they tend to attract more families. However, the number of kids on board Holland America would be a lot less than what you might find on Royal Caribbean or Carnival. So he told me that usually during that peak season, the max that they would have as far as ages 3 through 17, which they consider children, would be about 120. Now, if you've cruised any other cruise line, you know that there's way more than 120 kids on board, kids and teens on board. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. Some might see that as a good thing, some might see it as a bad thing, because if you want to cruise a cruise line that has less kids, Holland America might be for you. But if you are cruising with your kids and you want your kids to have, the cruise experience where they're surrounded and they're able to make friends, then Holland America might be something you might want to reconsider. Now, also speaking with the kids, we'll get to the ships here in a second. But again, Holland America, in my opinion, based off my sailing, they attract a wide range of ages. Now, I have to put it out there because this is something that I see a lot in a lot of Facebook cruise groups on Cruise Critic, and it's about the lack of diversity with Holland America. Now, when I'm speaking of diversity, I hear a lot of people in like melanated cruise groups speaking of Holland America is not for me. Holland America attracts generally older white cruisers. I would say on my sailing, and again, this could be because it was out of Vancouver, there were quite a few Asians on board my sailing. Of course, it's going to vary depending on which region you cruise out of, but besides having a lot of Asians on board, I felt like it was a good mix. There were quite a few Blacks. There were quite a few other races on board. Now, was it as diverse as what you might find on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, or any other cruise line? I would say no, it's not. But for me personally, how diverse the ship is really doesn't mean anything to me because I'm going to have a good time regardless of who I'm cruising with. But if you're someone who wants to see someone like yourself and you are a minority, you may reconsider Holland America because you're not going to see that there's going to be an overabundance of diversity, at least not yet. I do think Holland America is working to reach out to attract more of a diverse crowd. But again, I would say that it's not from what I saw, was it just attracting old white people. It was attracting all types of races, even lifestyles on board. They are very LGBTQ plus friendly. Disabilities, there were individuals on board that had autism, that had Down syndrome, were in wheelchairs, things like that. So I do think they attract a diverse crowd in that sense. But again, if you are looking to see more people like you, if you are a minority, again, Holland America is not really the line known for having that diverse of a crowd, but for me, it's not going to deter me from cruising Holland America. And I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. I hate to say white people, Black people, but Those are some of the reviews that you hear and see. It does not affect me at all. I don't care who I cruise with, but I just want to put it out there for those who are making a determination whether they want to cruise Holland America because of who might be on board. Again, it does depend on the region, but it's one of those cruise lines you have to get on board, check it out for yourself, and then you'll see how diverse it is. Some of the other reviews that I've seen in terms of negative things about Holland America is that there's nothing to do on board. And I will have to say, I totally disagree. Now, again, if you are a cruiser looking to have a fun time, you would be on a fun ship. That is Carnival. If you are looking to have the latest, greatest technology, or having rock climbing walls, or having IMAX theaters and things like that, you might go for Royal Caribbean. But if you are looking for a cruise that's going to give you, just a lot of relaxation, a lot of fun, amazing shows, things like that, then Holland America might be for you. And again, as I mentioned in the intro, they are known for having these cultural immersions and experiences and things on board. Depending on the region, if you're going to Alaska, they're going to bring environmentalists on board. But they're going to offer some of the same things that you're going to see on other cruise lines. You're going to have the casino on board. There's going to be a spa. You have several pools and jacuzzis. They're going to offer game shows. Each night, they had nightly entertainment, which was my favorite part of Holland America. I would probably rank them as some of the top best live entertainment that I've seen on a cruise ship. So you have the BB King's Blues Club. You have the rock and roll, the Rolling Stone Rock and Roll Lounge. You also have the dueling pianos, which takes place at the Billboard 100 Lounge. So every night there was live entertainment. They would also offer theatrical shows and things in the main theater. So some of those same things that you're going to get on other cruise lines, you're going to have there. Now, if you're looking for a hype experience where it's going to be back-to-back activities, that might not be for you. Holland America might not be for you. But I found there to be enough activities, whether it was line dancing or whether I was attending a beverage seminar or a mixology class or a wine tasting. I personally found that there were enough activities for my taste to enjoy the cruise, and I never felt bored. All right, and the fourth thing that you might hear and see a lot of, or you might think because you're in your mind, you're thinking, oh, Holland America attracts an older crowd, is that the food is not going to be good. And I will absolutely, hands down, tell you that my experience as far as the food on board Holland Koningsdam was amazing. And I would probably rank it as some of the best food that I've had at sea. Now, keep in mind, Holland America is a mid-luxury cruise line, so you're going to have more of that mid-luxury cruise experience. So there's not quite as many casual dining options per se. However, the food that was at the buffet, I don't think they ever really repeated items throughout my 4-night cruise. Now, breakfast is different. They did repeat food, breakfast items, but lunch and dinner, they offered a wide variety of all types of food. I mean, you had sushi some days, you had hot wok, they would have Indian food. Then they also offered some casual spots such as the New York Deli, where you can go and get club sandwiches and deli sandwiches freshly made right there for you. Their pizza, guys, now I will tell you this, Holland America has some of the best pizza at sea. I'm going to rank them in the top 3, and I will put them to you in this order. I have MSC ranked number 1, Princess Cruises number 2, and Holland America number 3. So lots and lots of food options. All of those things are included. You also have the main dining room where you can go and they have a nice menu there, just like every other cruise line. I found the food to be seasoned, and I absolutely love that the food always came out hot. I didn't have any problems with food temperature. Food was delicious. Now, they also offer some specialty dining options. My personal favorite was the steakhouse. I highly recommend trying some of their specialty dining options. And let me just say this. I felt like on Holland America, whereas some of the other entry-level cruise lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, sometimes it's almost like you have to book specialty dining on some of those cruise lines just to have some really good food. I didn't feel that way on Holland America. I felt like I didn't have to have specialty dining, and I was going to find something on the ship that I enjoyed and that was tasty. Now, the specialty dining was a bonus. I did enjoy pretty much all of my specialty dining options. My favorite was Tamarind, which is an Asian fusion type restaurant. Delicious food. My least favorite would have been the Italian restaurant. I did find that the food was a little unseasoned there, but across the board, the food on board Holland America was delicious. And the fifth thing that I've heard about Holland America is that they have old ships. Now, just like with every cruise line, all cruise lines have older ships. Now, what I think the misconception is when people are referring to older ships is that Holland America does not have all of the amenities as some of the other ships. So keep in mind, Holland America is an expert in Alaska cruising. So a lot of their cruise ships are designed to be able to go to Alaska. In fact, during the Alaskan season, pretty much all of their ships, but maybe one or two, actually transition to Alaska for the Alaskan season because it's just that popular with Holland America. So if you think about those glaciers and trying to get through the fjords in different places, you need to have smaller ships. So Holland America, again, they keep Alaska in mind. And so you might see that there's not going to be water slides on Holland America. There's not going to be water parks and different things like that. Again, rock climbing wall, IMAX theater. None of those things you're going to find on Holland America. So some people might say the ship seemed very basic or very old. Now the ship that I was on is 8 or 9 years old, and honestly, it felt like a brand new ship. There wasn't one area on board that I felt looked old or not upkept. I felt like the ship was beautiful. Now, of course, they have older ships, so that experience may be different, but I can imagine that they're taking pretty good care of their ships. But again, it's one of those things that you have to get on board and try. But don't confuse old and lack of amenities as being old, because a lot of times those old cruise ships have some nice charm to them. And again, they can go to places that a lot of the larger mega ships that other cruise lines offer, they go places that they cannot go. So yeah, so those are just some of my initial thoughts of Holland America. Now, again, I was only on a 4-night cruise. So again, my experience might be different from yours if you cruise longer with Holland America. I do have plans to get back on board Holland America in 2025 on at least a 7-night sailing to kind of see how that vibe compares. So I'll be sure to post a review of my time on board there. But again, if you missed the vlog series, be sure to go back and watch this because I'm going to give you a lot of tips and tricks and information about cruising with Holland America. So some of the questions that I've been asked since I've been off Holland America is, number one question is, would you take your family on board? And at this moment, I will be very honest to say, I don't know if for my family and our cruising lifestyle, if Holland America is for our family yet. However, I do see Holland America being a cruise line that I personally would travel solo, I would travel with my husband, or I would travel with other adults. And I say that because my kids want certain things on ships and I know what they like. And I think if they got on Holland America, they might, in their perspective, be a little bored, only because they don't have some of those amenities that they love on cruise ships. But do I think as my kids get older, would I cruise Holland America? Absolutely. So I personally have no issues. I really have no complaints about my time on board Holland America. And again, I went into this having read some of the reviews, having seen some other vlogs and things. And I did kind of go in thinking, okay, this could go either way. And I can tell you that it went the positive way. So I was really impressed. Amazing service. Food was wonderful. The ship was beautiful. The crew was amazing. I mean, got no complaints. So that is about it for my time on board Holland America. I hope this video helps some of you guys out as you are trying to figure out which cruise you want to get on, which cruise lines you want to try. And I do encourage you to get out there and try other cruise lines. I can tell you for probably my first 20 cruises, I was only cruising Carnival and Royal Caribbean, but I have branched out to other cruise lines. And I'm so glad that I did because, again, there's a cruise experience for everyone, a time, place, what have you. So there are some times where I want to cruise and I want to have a more upbeat cruise. So I'm going to pick Carnival. There's some times where I want to go abroad and have an extensive itinerary. So I'm going to choose celestial cruises. So you have to consider the cruise line and kind of what your cruising style is and what is it that you want to get out of that cruise before you decide on a cruise line. And I would say Holland America is going to be perfect for those laid back cruisers that just want to have a good time, that want to relax, that don't mind sitting and reading a book or coloring or going to a dance class. It's going to be for those types of cruisers. It may not be for you. It may not be for everyone, but I do say give them a try. Give every cruise line a try. See it out for yourself because who knows, you might actually like them. And when you're ready to plan your next cruise vacation, whether it's on Holland America or Princess Cruises or Carnival or MSC or any cruise line, feel free to contact us at Major Adventures Travel. We would love to help you plan your first or your next cruise adventure. Again, we have over 1,000 cruise vlogs. Currently, we are booked on about 15 to 16 cruises for 2025, so we'll have a lot more cruise content coming your way. So if you found this video helpful at all, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment if you have any questions about Holland America, because I know I didn't cover everything. If you have any questions about Holland America, or if you have any initial thoughts on Holland America, or if you've cruised Holland America, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on Holland America. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2025, a year full of cruising, full of adventure, full of fun, and we will see you guys on the next cruise.